Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Holly Taken podcast. The man down again. Nick is not back at you from Jacksonville, Florida right now, but I'm David, back at you from Tallahassee.
I'm Christian, currently in Delaware right now.
He's currently on the move, the number one car podcaster on this side of the Mississippi, I'd say.
Sure, baby.
But yeah, I guess we'll just go gone 60 seconds. He doesn't have to drink anything. Obviously, he's in a car. We're not going to do that. But on today's episode of Gone 60 Seconds, I just want to bring up... Okay, you ready? I want to bring up officially my favorite ball. When these originally came out with the fruit scones in 1963, I'm sure that no one expected them to be on everyone's table growing up. That's right, Pop-Tarts. We're going to talk about the Pop-Tart Bowl, and that thing was so amazing. I loved every second of it. The trophy was amazing, the mascot was amazing, and the giant edible Pop-Tart at the end was amazing. This is how bowls should be. It should be fun for everybody. I would personally even tank my season just to go at the shot of the Pop-Tart Bowl at this point. So here's my hot take is, a lot of people like this. One of the originals, I think that the brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart is arguably one of the worst Pop-Tarts. To me, I think, I know, hot takes. I don't like it. I think if I had to pick my top three Pop-Tarts, I'm picking Hot Fudge Sundae, Cookie Dough, and the limited edition Spidey Berry Pop-Tart that came out when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man came out. I know, hot take. What's your Pop-Tart take here?
Wow. So, I'm almost mind-blown because for my personal stats, brown cinnamon sugar sits at the one spot. That is my all-time favorite Pop-Tart. I mean, just an absolute fucking banger of a Pop-Tart. By the way, I don't know about you. Do you toast them? Are you a toaster guy?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Toaster or microwave, it has to be hot. I would like to dip mine in milk.
Never. I never do that. So that's something that I guess maybe that's a little different too. I don't toast them, but I would have to go 1, brown cinnamon sugar. 2, I'd probably go Cookie Dough with you as well. That's probably 2, and then Spider-Man for sure at the 3.
Yeah, I think s'more is a pretty decent flavor. I think it may be a little bit overrated too, up there with brown sugar cinnamon. Also, anybody who gets the Pop-Tarts that doesn't have the frosting on the front should automatically be like screened to be a psychopath. For the people who prefer those like iced Pop-Tarts, absolutely insane to me. I don't know how you can just do straight breading and filling.
Bro, and you know what? I have one more take. I think the worst Pop-Tart, in my personal opinion, is the OG strawberry Pop-Tart. I hate them.
For some reason, the strawberry filling for me has always just been like, I want to say like too sticky. That was been like my biggest gripe with them. Now, like I said, like sometimes when it's hot, it doesn't really stick as much, but I'm not a huge strawberry fan myself. But I guess, and Nick doesn't have a take for this. I'm going to take Nick's take. He's more of a toaster strudel guy. He loves getting iced. He actually, they called him the toaster strudel in high school. It's actually weird. A lot of frosting going around. But I guess, we're going to get into it. I just have a little thing to say. We're going to do NBA right now. Pistons have finally taken the torch from the Sixers with the worst record of 26 straight losses that were broken. They've lost 28 straight now, which includes blowing a 19-point lead against the Celtics. That's insane. 28 losses in a row.
Yeah. It's kind of bro. It's crazy. I mean, the Pistons are the worst team in basketball. There's no question around it. The fact that that they lost last night after having a 19-point lead. I mean, that tells you just about everything that you need to know. I can't wrap my head around it. And I don't know what they're missing. You know what I mean? Cade Cunningham seems to be a good player. It seems like they have decent pieces over there, but they just can't win for anything.
I think at some point it just becomes a mental thing, right? They were up 19 against the best team in the NBA right now. And they still managed. They were only a plus. It was plus 180 for the Celtics win at halftime. Plus 180 while down almost 20 is insane for anybody. But even Las Vegas is like, nah, they're going to lose it still. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. It is crazy. It is. What was the final to that last night? Do you know?
It was like 127 to 120. It was like a 6 or 7 point lead, a win in overtime. So I don't know. I truthfully, there are guys out there like Dwight Howard, John Wall, Isaiah Thomas, DeMarcus Cousins, who you could probably throw on this team and they would win, I would say, one game in the next five. If you were to just go out and just throw one of these guys on your team, I feel like they could make somewhat of a difference.
Did you see the same Instagram post that I saw that led you to drop all those
Yeah.
names?
Yeah. Dwight Howard, aka Kelly Oubre's daddy, went to go out there and say that. I mean, they're all playing in like China right now. They're making good money, so good, good on them.
So, staying on the basketball topic, who is your team that you're watching out for so far still this season?
I mean, true. It's a lot of good teams, but I'm still a big fan of the Timberwolves right now. I believe they still have the best record in the West. I don't know what it is. Anthony Edwards is a great player. They have two great big men in Karl Anthony Towns, a good defensive big man, and what's the COVID French dude? Gobert. He's still out there. I mean, it's a decent. They have a big team. They have a good team, and even some of the young teams still out there. And I truthfully think it's a team to look out for, especially when you make those playoff pushes. I feel they have a good team chemistry together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that pick, man. I'll tell you what, man. I'll be honest with you. I think the Sixers got the pieces to make a run here. I really do. I don't want to get the hopes up yet on that. You know, being a Sixers fan, as seeing what has happened the past
Get past
three.
the second round. Get past the second round.
Right, past the second round. So that's a win in the books, But everything's falling into place, man. Maxi's out here balling like an absolute stud. Embiid is on fire right now. I mean,
it's insane. More points per game than minutes per game.
It looks like he's going to end up being a back-to-back MVP. If he can continue this rate, he's going to be a back-to-back MVP. And this team's firing on all cylinders, dude. And they got the bench depth that they want. And they changed from a doctor to a nurse, and they're
yeah. And I think we talked about before the season. He's really good at using pieces to play better team ball. That was how they won over there with the Raptors. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's not a world beater, but if you put a good system around him that makes everybody around him better, you saw Van Fleet had the best season of his career. Siakam had the best seasons of his career. Yeah. Those are good guys that got better because of the system that Nick Nurse made around them. So it's going to be very interesting to see, again, get past the second round. They're playing a better team style ball. I mean, we have people on the bench that are doing well. I mean, even in the games Embiid missed, I think Mo Bamba came out and scored like 17 points. Oubre comes in, he scores his good amount of points. It's not a bad team at all. And I'm glad we had that bench depth. It's something we've been missing ever since we got rid of Seth Curry. And I forget who else. We got rid of like Seth Curry. We got a lot of good bench players we got rid of that now we have that depth after trading Harden.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully that Harden trade is going to pay off for a very, very long time to come.
All right, and I think that'll get us into the NFL. We'll go with the game last night that happened. Talk about that. Browns versus Jets.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it. I was working until midnight last night, but I was keeping up with it. Listen, we need to have this topic conversation right now about the Browns. Are they contenders or pretenders? Because right now, what I am seeing is they're contenders.
I just don't want to push that far. Now, if you look at the stats right now, Joe Flacco's 4-1. He's thrown 13 touchdowns, 8 picks, 90.2 rating. He has 1,616 yards through 5 games played. Now, if you're the hypothetical stats, if you were to take his averages from the past 5 games and put into a 17-game season, he would have 5,494 yards, which is 17 yards more than the most all-time in a single season. He would have 44 touchdowns, but 27 picks because he has been throwing a lot of picks. The only reason that I cannot sit here and tell you that Joe Flacco is the answer and he's going to give them to a giant playoff push is just because of who they've won those games against so far. They're 4-1. They're 1 loss against the Rams. They play the Jaguars, who are on the decline right now, who've lost like 4 or 5 straight. After that, they played the who did they play after that? Is it
the Browns?
The Browns. I mean, they played the Texans since then. The Texans without CJ Stroud. Then they played the Jets last night, and there's one more team that they played that I'm blanking on. I believe they beat them in a short game. See, Bears. They beat the Bears off of the Bears blowing a 10-point lead, and also Mooney dropping the Hail Mary at the end of the game. So you have 4 games where you didn't really play that good of teams. And if you played a good team, you played a team who was starting a downfall anyway. I want it to happen. I truly do, because I would love a world where Joe Flacco came in mid-season and then wins another Super Bowl. Right now, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but if he were to do that, I think you can make a conversation that he's a Hall of Famer for sure.
I don't want to hear anything. If the whatever quarterback waltzes in and wins the Browns a Super Bowl, they're in the Hall of Fame. Okay. That I mean, strip the jersey, the pads, the cleats, everything before he even gets to the damn
Retire
locker
that
room
number.
and put it in the Hall of Fame, bro. I mean, it's simple as that. And I'll tell you what, if it's Joe Flacco, somehow, if they, I mean, in a crazy year that it is this year, right? Just think hypothetical of me.
Very down QB year.
If it somehow is Joe Flacco who waltzes on a $2 million contract, takes this Cleveland Browns team that is elite on defense and now is looking like it's rolling on all cylinders on offense and wins a Super Bowl, bro, what are you doing with the $300 million Deshaun Watson who played like dog shit the whole time?
I mean, that's the interesting part there. You have Joe Flacco coming in. He's on a 1-year contract where he's doesn't have that much money because he gets incentives of $75,000 per win. I mean, so I mean, you're looking at he's won 301. He's got $300,000 in bonuses from 4 wins, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And you got to keep in mind, they're doing this without a lot of their offensive line starters. They did it last night without Amari Cooper, and they're doing it without Nick Chubb, arguably a top 3 back in the NFL. So they're doing this with not their full roster, and I can only imagine how this team could be if they were at their full potential. And it's honestly kind of scary. Now, I don't think Joe Flacco was a long-term answer, but even if he's a 1 or 2 year answer there, Russell Wilson, he comes back and he's going to be cut. Maybe Russell Wilson goes next year. That's a stacked team that I could see making a giant push for the next 2 or 3 more years with the team they have.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even think about that right there, dude. And you're right. Like, you're even talking about a team like the Jets that they went up on that. And granted, there's no offense over there, but there is a defense over there and a good defense at
that. Like number 1 rated defense in the NFL right now.
Right. And so, bro, picked it apart. Right. And like you said, no Amari Cooper and no Nick Chubb. Right. And again, 4th or 5th quarterback option for the Browns this year. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't even think about that, dude. Yeah, and the fact that Noah Amari went out there last night, I think you caught it, though. Njoku, career game, and he did have a career game. Bro went and had like 6 receptions, 136, I think. Something crazy like that. But yeah, and then you throw Nick Chubb back in that backfield, dude. And I agree with you. I think he's a top 3 running back, in my opinion, because he's a true complete back. You know? So, yeah, I don't know, man. That Browns team is going to be a scary team to come. It's just you gotta hope they don't brown it up. You just gotta hope
that's a big thing. They clinched a playoff berth. They had a small sliver of a shot to win that division and a small sliver of the shot to get the 1 seed in the AFC after it's all said and done. All that needs to happen is the Ravens need to lose out. I mean, the Ravens play against 2 playoff contending teams in the next 2 weeks. The Browns would need to win out, and then the Dolphins would need to lose against the Buffalo Bills, which isn't that far out of the question right now without the Bills playing.
So the Ravens would have to lose to the Dolphins this week.
And the Steelers next week. Yeah.
The Dolphins would have to win this week, but lose
to the Bills next week. And then Browns have to win out.
And next week.
They have to win next week, and they play the Bengals.
Well, I mean, it's really not
out of the question. It is right there.
It's really not. Yeah, that is crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I think the biggest shakeup that we'll have, we'll talk about it later when we talk to the playoff wild card, is going to be in the AFC East right now. But next we can go Eagles-Cardinals game. We'll do that only because this is the first time they're playing on a Sunday at 1 p.m. since the last week of October. It's been about 8 weeks since we've had a normal bog standard 1 p.m. Sunday game. Must win for the Eagles to control that East.
Yeah, it definitely is a must win for the Eagles to control the East. I will say, however, though, spread, and I know, betting doesn't matter too much here, but spread is 11.5. If you do bet, eat that all fucking day. Give the Cardinals 11.5. I can tell you right now, dude, Philly is going to struggle with Kyler Murray back there at quarterback. And Kyler Murray is not a great passer, but they don't have a linebacking core to follow him on the run. They don't have somebody who's going to stay with him all day. So I have a feeling Kyler's going to have a decent game on the ground, and then he's going to end up having a decent game in the air because you're going to end up respecting the game on the ground, and he's going to find his way to pass. I think Philly will get the job done. I don't think it's going to be in a blowout fashion like they're predicting, and I feel like I don't know, man. It's getting scary. It's getting real scary as an Eagles fan because you're seeing that a lot of your losses now are self-inflicted wounds.
Mhm.
They're not the other team beating you, except for the Niners game is the one game I'll put there because the Niners absolutely beat us.
Dominated. Yeah.
Absolutely dominated,
Absolutely.
no question. We shot ourselves in the foot with Dallas. We shot ourselves in the foot with Seattle. We shot ourselves in the foot with New York.
Mhm.
And it's that you don't shoot yourself in the foot, you only have one loss on the year right now, and you already locked everything up. So I feel like that's the way this team is right now. I feel like there's so many questions inside that locker room, so many this and that. They're good enough. They're well rounded, way better roster than the Cardinals to where they will get the job done this weekend. But
Yeah.
it's looks sloppy, I think.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you're going up against Gannon. There's already motivation up there. Somebody who led you to the Super Bowl, somebody who arguably let you down in that second half in the Super Bowl, leaves you to dry, basically. Now,
Mm-hmm.
let's give credit where credit's due. That offense last week for Philadelphia looked good. I mean, they scored with 30 points last week, and probably should have scored more if it wasn't for the fact that Zacchaeus decided to tackle his own guy on a kickoff. And then even the game, it was an 8 point game, sure, but again, you had that weird play that happens, and you have Goddard slipping for a pick six. I mean, the biggest thing, again, like I said, is it's going to be our first 1 p.m. game since the Commanders on October 29th. They just need to take care of business. And like you said, I feel like the last several times we played the Cardinals has been these close, gritty games. I mean, Jalen Hurts' coming out game was that first game against the Cardinals several years ago. That's when we were like, okay, this could be the guy. That's when he made his push to the playoffs that year. It's going to be interesting. They have the talent. They should win out this year. They should clinch the division. But like we've said, week in and week out, we haven't seen a complete game from both sides of the ball. And we're gonna have to see that here, especially going into the playoffs. We need those games to happen. We need the momentum to happen. We need to have it click, or else we're not gonna. I don't know if we're gonna get the 1 seed. I don't really think we are. And then we have to play three good teams that are wild card teams that are possible. We have to either play the Seahawks or we had to play the Rams. We lost against one, and we had a close game against the second. So I mean, it's not even for foregone conclusion that we play an easy wild card game either. You frozen? Oh, he's gone. Well, Christian's dead. So I just said that the Eagles are going to play the Seahawks or Rams in the wild card probably, and that's not easy games.
No, if nah. Yeah, no, you're not. Those aren't going to be easy games. Honestly, dude, the Rams scare the actual piss out of me. That team looks real good right now, firing on all cylinders on the offense. And we just lost to Seattle, so
Yeah.
granted that that's a game you probably could have won, but it's still. I mean, it's gonna be it's gonna be hard, dude. I don't know how Philly's gonna look come playoff time. No matter what, we're gonna see them in the playoffs because they already clinched a spot. But
Mhm.
it's these last 2 weeks are gonna be the dictator of that, and I just don't feel like I don't know, man. It sucks because I don't want to admit it yet, but I don't think it's gonna look good.
Well, so the next game we'll stick with the NFC East here. Big game, Lions versus Cowboys. Saturday's game is huge, and especially in the landscape that is the NFC playoffs right now. Lions are hot as of late, with a win would jump to the second spot against Philly because of like wins. This would make Dallas 2 games back of the Eagles. Eagles would clinch with the win against the Cardinals. Now, obviously, the other version here is if Dallas wins, and then the Detroit Lions lose. Philly gets that second seed. The Philly would need to win out in order to win the division, or Dallas would need to lose against the Commanders next week. But that's probably not going to happen. So this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Probably each team, I think, is going to put up 30 each. Honestly, yeah, I'll be curious to see how it goes. But as an Eagles fan, man, I don't really know who I want to pull for. I would love to just see a tie. That would bless my heart. But I don't really know what's going to happen here. I think Detroit could get the job done. However, I know the game is in Dallas, and Dallas still has yet to lose at home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a big factor. However, out of all the teams that have come into Dallas, I think Detroit's probably going to be the best one that had to have the shot of knocking them off.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at the Seahawks did against the Dallas Cowboys at home. They had a pretty good shootout there as well. I just don't see Dallas's defense being that amazing. I'm not sure how Stephon Gilmore is. I know he got hurt against the
He's
the
good.
Dolphins in the last game.
Came right back. He
He
came
went
right
back
back.
again. Well, there we go. Then he should be fine. But it's gonna be a good game. As a Philly fan, I love to get that second seed, but I just can't root for a Dallas win. I'd rather clinch the division, get a guaranteed higher seed, and plus Dallas loses. That's a bonus here. Now, obviously, if they lose, right, Eagles win out, then the Niners would lose one of their last two games. Then the Eagles would get that one seed. Not out of the question. I don't think the Commanders is the game to worry about. It would be awesome. It would be awesome to think if the Commanders were to beat the Niners and the Cowboys in back-to-back weeks. Would love that. Not going to happen. But the Rams played the Niners in that last week of the season as well, and so there's a good chance that that may help the Eagles into the playoffs too.
Well, even if the Niners drop one of their last two and Detroit wins against Dallas, wouldn't Detroit have the one seed?
They would. Yep. If Detroit was the win out and the Niners lose one, then the NFC goes through Detroit.
And then two would be Philly.
Two would be Philly.
And then then San Fran drops to 3.
Yeah.
So if San Fran loses one game, they go from 1 to 3 as long as Detroit wins tomorrow.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how the scenario is right now, with the Baltimore Ravens. When you think about it, because I'll jump into it. Next one I was going to talk about is going to be the Dolphins Ravens game. Ravens just decimated and exposed Brock Purdy. 4 picks in 2 quarters and 5 minutes. And Purdy got benched. He was cleared to play to come back in, but they benched him. Dolphins will come off and win against Dallas as well. And again, this is going to be a good game. What do you see happening here?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I like Baltimore right now, man. I really do. That team is rolling. They're red hot. Lamar looks like he's playing out of his mind. I was watching that game, last weekend though. He's still missing on some deep ball passes, and that's gonna, I feel like, continuously be what's gonna be the factor there and the downfall on Baltimore. Because right now I feel like we're almost in the midst of seeing the most we're going to ever see out of Lamar. I feel like by next year, what we see from him as a passer, that's going to be his top peak as a passer. So if he can't get that fixed and Baltimore can't win a Super Bowl within now or next year, then in my opinion, their door frame is closed. However, that team is good. That defense is great. That defense is balling out. They made Brock Purdy look like he didn't know where the hell he was. He looked like Mr. Irrelevant last night. Like, It was, or not last night, but you know what I meant. Like,
Yeah.
That defense looks good, and that's what won them their Super Bowls though back in 2011 or 12, and back in 2000 when they had Ed Reed still there, and when they had Ray Lewis in 2012 and Terrell Suggs and all of them. They had a stellar defense, and they had decent offensive play, but they had other weapons around it. And that's what they're kind of getting right now. They have great offensive play from the quarterback and decent weapons around him.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been the caveat is when they get to the playoffs, Lamar has not looked good. Like he'll throw under like 120, and it's a defensive battle and they end up losing because the defense can only do so much during the game when your offense is only scoring 14 points. And that's what's going to be interesting here. You have a Dolphins team whose offenses look great this year, but against better defenses haven't looked so great. They only scored 17 in their loss to Philly, only 14 in their loss to KC. And even when they beat Dallas, they only scored 22 points. And Dallas left some points up on the board there, fumbling the ball, going for them 4th downs and whatnot. So, I mean, this Dolphins team, good record with a win here would be in the first seed for head to head. If Baltimore wins, they clinch the division and they clinch the 1 seed. So they win, the AFC goes through Baltimore. Now, the caveat I was talking about when I was talking about all those weird scenarios, Baltimore loses, and then they lose next week against the Steelers, who are also fighting for a playoff spot. Like I said earlier, if the Browns win, they win out, and then they get the 1 seed, and then obviously Dolphins will have to lose against Buffalo. But the Ravens could slide from 1 to 5, just depending on how these last 2 weeks of the season go. I mean, the team that I've been saying has been the top two best team in the NFL since like week 4 of the season could sit there and just slip all the way to the fifth best team just based off of how it goes within the divisions and the seeding goes because all the division winners get the top 4 seeds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be real interesting to see how that one plays out. Now, I think Baltimore is gonna be able to clinch it,
Yeah,
whether it's well, actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna be real honest with you, man. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I think they probably have the hardest path to clinching their division right now, in all honesty, because you're playing two very hard games. I get it, you're playing in Baltimore against Miami, but Miami's rolling on all cylinders. Miami's got it going. They finally just beat a team that was over 500 for the first time since, I believe, Baltimore last year
right.
in Baltimore. So they're going to come to play. They're going to be ready to play. It's not going to be an easy rollover win. It's not like, okay, bro, we got this. That defense is starting to play a lot better. Jalen Ramsey's back over there now. Everything's going good for them. So it's not going to be an easy win. And then on top of that, your final game is going to be against the Steelers team who needs their wins for the playoffs, who the past 3 years have been shitting on you in Baltimore. It's not going to be easy. And I wouldn't be shocked if they drop those 2 games, but I don't really expect them to drop those 2 games.
Yeah. I don't either. Just the way they've been playing this year, I'd be very shocked to see they do that. And our next game is going to be Buffalo versus New England. Like I said, the AFC East is not clinched just yet, no matter how good the Dolphins have been, no matter how bad the Bills started off the year. They need to beat New England, and then Baltimore needs to beat Miami, like I said. If this happens, the division will be decided between the Bills and Dolphins game next week. This is not a far-fetched idea at all. I mean, Buffalo, they've been playing well recently. They play New England this week, and then they would just have to have the right now best team in the NFL beat the Dolphins for a winner takes the division game next week.
Yeah. But you know what, man? I've been saying it all week. I really have. I think everybody's sleeping on the Patriots game right here, man. I think a lot of people think Buffalo is going to come out and steamroll them, and I really just don't see it that way. I think Buffalo will walk away with the win at the end of the day, but they're not going to walk away with the win if they're looking at it like, oh, this is a 3-11 team, bro. Like this is slight where you already lost them once this season, okay? And not only did you lose them once this season, but this is a better team than what they started at in the season because they're playing for really they're just playing for their pride and they're playing because they just want to play, right? And they're playing to save Belichick's job. And you already lost them once this season. Now, granted, the Bills team, this is a better Bills team, right? This is not the same Bills team that we saw earlier in the year. But again, both teams just gotten better. And New England already won the first matchup when they were worse. So I just don't see it being a blowout. New England's going to hang close with them. And if Buffalo doesn't bring the game, it's not going to go well for them. But I think they will bring it, and I think they get the job done.
And then I think the last thing I'll talk about is it's going to be the AFC South here. I think this is the craziest division right now. We did not think it was going to be close. I believe we only had Jacksonville winning the division by multiple games. Right now, you have 3 teams tied for first with the Jags, Colts, and Texans. As the scenario goes, Jaguars all but clinched the division if they were to win this week. They would have to win the next 2 games. They win out, they get the division. But if the Jaguars lose this week and the Colts and Texans both win this week, they can't win the division. It is impossible for them to win the division if they lose and both those teams win because they play each other next week. So the winner of that game would be the division winner. There's a bunch of other scenarios going on. Right now, the Jags, they play this week. They play the Panthers, and then they play the Titans next week. Colts got Raiders, then Texans next week, and then Texans probably have the harder here where they have to play the Titans first and then the Colts after. So where do you think the division is going to be going this time?
Yeah, I said it 2 weeks ago, baby. Gardner Minshew and the boys are taking that, babe. I mean, look, I think well, okay, actually let me rephrase that. If Jacksonville loses, right, if they lose one game and both the Texans win out and the Colts win out, who gets the division?
Well, it's impossible for the Colts and Texans to win out because Colts and Texans play each other next week. But if the Jaguars lose this week and both of them win this week, then they can't win the division because they play each other. So one of those teams would have to win. They would both be a game ahead, and one of them would have to win. So it would be impossible for the Jags to win the division if they lose this week and both those teams win this week. Luckily, they
Right.
play the Panthers.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Oh man, did CJ Stroud get it done? No, I think I'll stick with the Colts, man. I think I will. I think the
Uh,
Colts are.
yeah, I mean, truthfully, personally, I think the only reason the Jags are going to go through with it is just because they lucked out and have the Panthers this week. And then they play the Titans next week. And those are two. I mean, the Titans are, I mean, yeah, the Titans, they aren't awful.
They're not pushovers.
Yeah, I mean, they beat a good Dolphins team. So, I mean,
They're
who knows? Maybe it happens. But as we are right now, who do you see going in both of the go through both the playoffs? Give me your 1 through 7 on AFC and NFC.
you'll probably get Baltimore at the one spot. Would it be KC at the two?
AC, I don't believe can get the two. I think they would have to win out to get the two, but they're at 9 and I think they're at 9 and like 7 right now, or
What
nine and
division?
six.
I'm like
You're
blanking.
missing the
What?
AFC East.
Oh,
So
okay,
the
okay, okay. Yeah. So Baltimore at the one seed, Miami at the two seed, Kansas City at the three, and whoever gets it. I guess. Yeah. I guess we'll probably go Colts at the four.
mhm.
I'll go Colts at the four. Browns at the number one or at the five spot. Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming Buffalo would be your your sixth spot.
Yeah, probably my six, and then seven.
See, that's a tough thing about the 7th spot. There's a bunch of teams tied at 8 and 7, I believe. That are tied for 8 and 7. I want to say it's the Colts, Texans, Bengals, and Steelers are all tied at 8 and 7.
Give me the Steelers. I'll
The
put the
Steelers.
Steelers. I think they get it done. I think Tomlin makes the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, so for me for the AFC right now, I think Baltimore wins against Miami. Then I think Buffalo gets it done. I think Buffalo ends up winning the division. I have Kansas City at the 3. I have Jacksonville win the division. Cleveland at the 5. Miami at the 6. And I have the Colts getting in at the 7. Right now, they hold the tiebreaker against all those teams ahead of them. So I think for that reason, they'll end up getting that last wild card spot. Now, so where do you have the NFC at the end of the year? Where do you think that's going to be after it's all said and done?
Detroit's
Yes.
going to be at the one.
Ooh,
Philly's going to be at the two. Niners will be at the three. Buccaneers are going to be at the four. Dallas will be at five. Rams will be six. I feel like Seattle's like the only liable option left to put there at the
yeah,
seventh spot.
yeah, because there's a bunch of teams that are like at 7-6. Like for the right now for the NFC South, Tampa Bay wins this game this week, they're in. They play the Saints, they win, they're in. If the Saints win out, they're in, and if the Buccaneers lose out, and then the Saints win out, the Saints win that division. If the Buccaneers lose out, and the Falcons win out, the Falcons win that division. It's gonna be close. I don't think anybody from the NFC South is going to be a second wild card. I'm gonna. It's gonna be tough for me. I think one's gonna. I have on here Philly, but I'm simply gonna switch that. I think one is gonna be the Niners. I'll get Philly at 2, Detroit at 3, Bucks at 4, Dallas at 5, Rams at 6, and then the Seahawks I'll take at 7. I really did want to say Philly wins out and Niners lose to the Rams, but that's just. I feel like this is wishful thinking at this point. Probably gonna end up being the Niners winning out.
Yeah, yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, well, actually, no, I wouldn't have to agree with you on that. I just don't think the Niners beat the Rams in their final week, bro. I don't.
Hopefully, as an Eagles fan, hopefully that's the truth. Hopefully that we don't see that. Hopefully Philly somehow gets that 1 seed. People are going to say it's a fraud 1 seed that we didn't earn it, but I hope that ends up happening. So because Nick's not here, I'm going to have to read off his nut or bust. He sent me his nut and bust in a jar and told me to read it off for you guys. So that's what I'm going to be doing. All right, nut or nut. He changed the game. He changed the name again. I don't understand this. QB. Josh Allen, out for blood from last meeting, going to have a game. Running back, Swift, going up against the worst defense against the run. Running back, Etienne, has had a bad last two games. Look from the bounce back against the Panthers, ranked 28th against the run.
Bro, why are you reading it like that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just reading. He said, wide receiver. I'm reading it like VeggieTales would read like a fan submitted letter right now.
Bro, you are.
Wide receiver, Ramen St. Brown.
Ramen. Bro, he calls him ramen.
Emin Ross said Brent. He said ramen. What a dude gets a ton of targets a game, and the Lions will need that to beat Dallas this week. Wide receiver, Pookaboo, I see you. Rams are going to air it out against the awful secondary from the Giants. Tight end would say Njoku, but he already played and was a beast. But start Kelsey. Wow, what a hot take there, Nick. This dude has been awful this year, and I think he has the Swift curse cast onto him. But since he is 31 against the tight end position, and the Chiefs need to win this game. Defense. Packers defense, for some reason, Vikings suck at picking a QB to start, so I think the Packers eat them alive on defense because of that. I just think they should have stuck with Mullins. Doesn't make much sense why they got rid of him after throwing 411 yards. Kicker, anyone but McManus. I'm going to say McManus. That's what I used to call him. Anyone but McManus. Dude would not know how to find a gap if you shoved it in his face. Going to assume the store busts. I'll have to believe that's that. This is Nick. I'm going to put this as Nick's swear jar because I have to read this. Eckler. I hate him. He caused me to lose my fantasy league. I hope he never finds the field again. His words, not mine. And then Lawrence, only because he's...
Who said that every time Nick said, oh, dude, Eckler's going to go off. Dude, every time I said, bro, you're an idiot.
Future Nick. Christian has been telling you not to start this dude for the past 5 weeks now. And every single week, you always had him for your guy to go off. Every week, you were like, Eckler. At some point, I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, Nick. I don't know what to tell you there. That's on you, buddy. But he said, Lawrence, don't start him. Sit him out. It's the Panthers. Team can find a way to win. So he thinks the Panthers may win. I will say this. I did sit Trevor Lawrence out yesterday in my fantasy league. This start Joe Flack Goat, and that worked out tremendously for me. I'm glad that I decided to do that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think so. I'll get into, let's do certified baller. I know we usually do that at the beginning of the week, but we missed a whole week and a half. So with the last week and a half, Christian, who do you have as your certified baller?
Dude, it's going to be none other than Joe motherfucking Flacco. I mean, dude's just coming out here and lighting it up, bro, for no reason. Bro was chilling on the couch a month and a half ago, didn't really have a desire. Browns called him up, said, yo, you want to play quarterback? He's like, yeah, all right, look, I'll come, but understand something. I'm going to throw you 300 yards a game. I'm going to throw you 3 touchdowns a game. I'm going to throw you 2 picks a game as well, but we're going to win. And it's working, dude, and I cannot believe it. I think it's the funniest thing in the world. And I'll tell you what, man, wouldn't it be so funny if the Browns played the Ravens in the playoffs?
Dude, I would love it. I would honestly love for the Browns to win the division just for that. But yeah, no doubt. I'm not going to even say a second guy. It's Flacco. I mean, what he's done is incredible. I think there's nothing more else you can say about it. I think he's just the certified baller. Do you have any deflated ballers for the last week and a half?
Yeah, Austin Eckler. guys, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry to every fantasy manager that took him with their first overall pick or their first round pick. That's dude. Yeah, I can't. That's a hard knock right there. Not a hard knock, but that's a bad beat.
Yeah, you went from the last 2 or 3 seasons where you had the most touchdowns in that span to stinking it up on a consistent basis. Now, I know you have a lot of hurt guys on that offense, but still, it's kind of crazy. My deflated baller is going to be Deebo Samuel. And nothing wrong with defending your QB after getting mollywopped with 4 picks and getting benched. But to get trolled by a bunch of teenagers into believing it's Cam Newton that was talking to you, you even want to call out Cam Newton on TV, showing receipts on social media. That was just a bunch of random teenagers who prank texted you. And I mean, I think that's absolutely crazy. You fell exactly for that. I mean, The whole situation was weird. I mean, I understand defending your quarterback, but it's hilarious the fact that he believed a bunch of random teenagers trolling him that they were Cam Newton.
Yeah, bro. I think yeah, that's just funny. That's a good one there. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we can.
Actually, you know what? No, I want to. I want to change my deflated ball. I want to change it real quick. My fault. I missed it. It's gonna be Brock Purdy for me. That's why I wanted to make
Yeah,
it.
not a good game. Like especially a guy who's supposed to be an MVP candidate. I mean, I think he dropped out of the top three now. I think he's not in the top three anymore after that game.
Dude's not. Dude's not even gonna sniff the MVP.
I went on a whole rant after our last episode. We posted like once you guys left, I did like a whole rant by myself. And it was just about the MVP race. How it's crazy that Brock Purdy was number one at that point. It just made no sense because Brock Purdy had 3 games without Debo, went 0 for 3, and had like 5 touchdowns and 3 picks in those 3 games. Lost all 3. Your time where you're supposed to prove that you don't need all those weapons, you were proven that you need those weapons. When he was throwing picks last game, he threw 4 picks. The next possession, swing route, swing route, swing route. Throw the ball, get in the space, doesn't matter. They did not let him throw any deep passes, just 3 straight swing routes. How do you not look at that and say they lost confidence? How does it make you feel that they were like, oh, we can't have him throwing those deep balls. He's not looking good tonight. It's crazy to me. I think McCaffrey should be MVP. It's a QB award, unfortunately. It's probably going to go to Lamar Jackson or maybe even Tua, depending on who wins that game this weekend.
Well, dude, I've kind of been saying this. I was talking to my buddy about this last night. I think the MVP, it's really going to come down to what player that's like been in the talks, whether it's Hurts, whether it's Allen, Lamar, Patty, whoever. What player is going to ball out these last 2 weeks, and whoever balls out the last 2 weeks, that's who the MVP is going to. Because, dude, they've been changing it nonstop. Who's going to win it? Who's going to win it? I'm telling you right now, whatever player comes out and is far better than the other ones this week for these next 2 weeks, that's your MVP.
Yeah. So I think we don't have that much to talk about left. We can talk about a little bit of the college football playoffs. First game, Bama versus Michigan. You have the AP ranked 5th Alabama versus the 1 Michigan playing in the Rose Bowl. So what do you have to say about that matchup right there?
Yeah, I love Michigan, man. I think Michigan gets the job done. Brandon, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a dog battle, bro. I think it's going to be a decent amount of points scored. You're probably sitting somewhere. I think the winning team will score 30 or more, and the losing team will be somewhere in the high 20s. But I think Michigan pulls it out. I'm still not sold on Bama. I get it. It's a better Bama team than what they started on the year, but this is also a Bama team that almost just lost to Auburn. Before they came out and beat Georgia. Yeah, they came out and basically manhandled Georgia, did what they had to do against Georgia. But I don't know, man. They played a lot. Their last 2 games, they were in division games, in conference games, I should say. So there's always going to be more on the line for that. But I don't know, man. I think Michigan gets the job done. I think it's here.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's going to come down to then Michigan to establish that run game. You aren't going to win a game going through McCarthy the entire game. It's going to be interesting. I want to see how that Michigan defense does against the Alabama offense. And then the second game, the last game, we have Texas versus Washington. A great matchup. Texas is finally back. Their first ever college football playoff appearance against an undefeated Washington team. Texas has looked pretty balanced throughout the entire season. That one blemish being the Oklahoma loss. And Washington has looked shaky the past several weeks, but has found a way to win those games. So, I mean, I think for me, it just really comes down to who makes that first mistake.
Yeah, I'm going to probably agree with you there. I think it's going to come down to the first mistake. Now,
And yeah, and then I think we can go right into our last one. End of the week, dubs and chugs. Nick can't be here. Now, Nick told me who he has winning these games, so I may read those off to you, who he thinks he's going to win. But Christian, oh wait, you're driving right now.
Yeah, I'll be parked in like 3 minutes. So go ahead and read them off. I'll flip the coin.
Okay, so the first game he has on there is Oregon State versus Notre Dame. Apparently, that started an hour ago. I don't know what the score is right now. I don't know why Nick put a game that started at the exact same time we were going to start the podcast. Um, I don't know. Give me Oregon State. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'll go with Oregon State as well because why not? And Nick's gonna go with Notre Dame. I don't have a coin on me, but that's who Nick's going with.
Nick's going with Notre Dame. Apparently, I mean, he said he was going to go with Oregon State on the text message, but Christian has said we're punishing Nick because he got punished, so he's picking Notre Dame to win that game. The next one he has is Missouri versus Ohio State. They play tonight at 8 o'clock.
Uh, how many people decided that they're not playing for this game tonight?
I don't know the numbers. I just know the only Ohio State person I think is sitting out. I don't think Marvin Harrison's going to be there. Although I didn't see he wasn't going to be there. No, because Marvin Harrison hasn't declared yet. So I think Marvin
Yeah,
Harrison may still be there, but they will be without Kyle McCord. It looks like Devin Brown's going to get that start tonight.
yeah. I think I'll still go ahead and I'll take Ohio State.
Yeah, I think I got Ohio State too. I think Devin Brown arguably should have been starting the entire season. Um, who does Nick have in this?
Hold on, just putting the car in the park. Let's flip the coin and find out who Nick has.
Let's
We'll
do
go heads is Ohio State, tails is what was the other team?
Missouri.
Missouri. All righty. It is tails, so he went Missouri.
He went Missouri. That's actually who he has winning on there. He said Ohio State isn't ready for that defense. I, I don't think Missouri's ready for that offense. So the next game is going to be Ole Miss versus Penn State, which is tomorrow at 12.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I'll take Ole Miss though. I like the high-powered offense over there.
I think it's going to be a good game too. I'll say Penn State. They've looked pretty good throughout the year. They played a good game against Michigan. I'll say Penn State wins this one.
All right, we'll go heads Penn State, tails is Ole Miss. It is tails.
Which was Ole Miss.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So he said he wanted Penn State to win, but the coin has decided Ole Miss is who he is picking. Next game, we have Auburn versus the Maryland Terps.
Give me Auburn. So I can go against Nick's team.
And this one's interesting because you have a Maryland team who played a Michigan team pretty good. We also have an Auburn team who played who played Alabama really good. I'm gonna have to go with the Terps here. I feel like season and body of work. I feel like the Terps were just a little bit better.
All righty. So heads will be the Terps and tails will be who did I pick again? What was that?
It was Auburn.
Auburn. Okay. So heads is Maryland, tails is Auburn. I just lost the coordinate. It is tails again.
All right. So Nick picked the Terps to win this game. However, the coin decides different, and it looks like he has Auburn winning this game. So then next game, we're going to go to our first college football playoff game. No, wait, no, we don't. Why is he? Wait, yeah, no, we're not. Sorry, it looks like he didn't put any college football playoff games on there. We have Georgia versus FSU.
I'll take Georgia.
As someone who wishes FSU was in the college football playoffs, FSU is without Keon Coleman. They're without Johnny Wilson. They're without Verse. They're without Trey Benson. It's almost the entire offensive weapons are gone. Even Rodemaker isn't even starting. Glenn's getting the start again because Rodemaker decided to enter the transfer portal. Jared Verse is out, like I said, defensive wise. I don't see this being a close game. Georgia hasn't had a lot of people that have decided to go out. So I think that this will be a spanking of Florida State. I think Georgia wins by, I'll say 28.
Yeah. And like I said, I took Georgia as well. Is it a tiebreaker?
No,
This isn't a tiebreaker, right? Okay,
isn't
yeah. Then
tiebreaker.
I'll take Georgia as well. We'll go heads is Georgia and tails is FSU. All righty.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm not making this up. It is tails again.
All right. So Nick, even though on here he said FSU is about to get spanked, which is why 22 players aren't dressing. That's a lot of games. He has Florida State winning. What a hot take by Nick here. Honestly, I'm very shocked considering how anti-FSU he's been this year. But he has the 13-0 Florida State Seminoles going 14-0 and possibly claiming a UCF championship.
Nice.
So we switch to NFL now. First game, we have Saints versus Bucks. That's a pretty garbage game.
Yeah, I'll take the Bucks. Thanks.
Yeah, give me the Bucks. I think they clinch that division tomorrow.
All righty. Because it's been tails so many times, I'm gonna go Saints heads, Bucks tails. All right, I'm gonna try to give my man's one here. It is heads. So
That's Bucks.
that's the Saints.
That's the Saints. All right. Well, he has on here Bucks, but the coin has chosen Saints. Nick, it's unfortunate for you that only one of the games I think that you've picked have been chosen. So I don't know how this is happening. The the next one is going to be the Raiders versus the Colts. Nick says Raiders D is pretty good. Devontae is their offense.
Oh, good for him, but I'm gonna take the Colts.
Yeah, Colts it is. Also, Devontae's their offense. He had one reception for 4 yards last week.
Yeah.
I think the Colts are just that good. It's crazy this Raider team beat the Chiefs, but I do think the Colts end up winning this game.
Alrighty, we'll go heads Raiders, tails Colts. It is heads, so it's Raiders.
Yeah, that's who he has winning the game anyway. He did pick the Raiders to begin, saying that they're going to stay hot. Next game we have Bengals versus Chiefs rematch of the last two AFC championships.
Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. Repeat.
It's Bengals versus Chiefs.
Give me the Chiefs. Yeah.
You know the Chiefs. Yeah, I just think after the last week's performance from Browning, I just think that the Chiefs end up winning here. I think they clinch their division.
And then we'll go heads Chiefs, tails Bengals. Oh, that was a misflip. Tails. So he took the Bengals.
Well, that's who he has winning on here as well. He did say without the coin flip that he think the Bengals are going to win. The Chiefs keep their losing streak alive, which gives the Broncos a shot at the division. So then,
Well, yeah, but they benched Russell Wilson.
yeah. The next one we're going to have the Steelers versus Seahawks.
That's tough, man. If Mason Rudolph can come out and play decent football again, then I'll take the Steelers. But you know what? Yeah, give me the Steelers. Give me the Steelers.
The Seahawks have, I think I'm going to pick the Seahawks. And the only reason why is because they've had two good wins, two come from behind wins, and they've looked pretty decent. He wanted me to put here, fun fact, Pickett has the same amount of passing touchdowns in his career as Flacco has had this season.
Yep.
Steelers is the only reason they stay in the game. Steelers, I'm pretty sure you meant to put defense there. Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer season is already over. Ken Hit Light will go out this week. Can't his light? What? Nick, what is this?
He tried to make a pun on it being his last name.
He just made a typo.
Obviously. All right, well, we'll flip the coin. So we'll go head Steelers, tail Seahawks. It is heads, so he took the Steelers.
He took the Steelers. On here, he picked Seattle. That sucks for you, Nick. Next game, he has Ravens versus Dolphins.
Man, dude, I don't know what to take here. Give me the Dolphins. Fuck it.
You know, this is going to be a really good game. I would love for the Dolphins to win here just to keep the Browns' one seed hopes alive. However, I don't see it happening. I think with what you saw, that defense against Brock Purdy and that high-flying offense last week of the Niners, and that continues and rolls over here, I have Baltimore winning.
Alrighty. Heads is Baltimore, tails is Miami. Misflip. Hold on. Dang it, I lost the okay, finally. We're good. Tails. So that's Miami.
Yeah, well, he has the Ravens winning, but the coin has decided that the Dolphins are winning for you, Nick. And then the last one, our tiebreaker game, is going to be the Lions versus the Cowboys. Nick wanted me to add in there. Not sure who actually good. Not sure who is actually good here. Feel like slight edge goes to Dallas since it's in Dallas, but hopefully Dan has the same hate in his heart as we do for this team, and the Lions get it done.
Yeah, I'll go with the Cowboys to win.
It's such a tough one. As much as I would hate...
I'll go the Cowboys to win 28-24. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Dallas here too. I'll go 38-21.
Alrighty, and Nick will go heads Cowboys, tails Lions. I was misflip again. It's hard to flip. Damn it, dude! It's so hard to flip a coin inside of a car. Tails. So he's a Lions fan, and he thinks the score is going to be 29-16.
He has on here Dallas winning 34-30. And he says hate it. But no, apparently Nick now has Lions winning
29-16.
29-16. Isn't that the same score? That's the same score as the Ohio State Michigan one. All right. All right. Well, I think that's it. I mean,
subscribe.
I'm not sure what to say.
Friends,
Enjoy your New Year's Eve. There we go. We have New Year's. Hopefully 2024 is as good or better than 2023 for you. A lot of football on the slate. I hope you have a good weekend. Drink responsibly and have a happy New Year.
Yeah, have a happy New Year. Drink responsibly or don't drink responsibly. Really, have a fun time. Don't have a fun time. Kiss someone at midnight. Don't kiss someone at midnight.
Kiss your homies at midnight.
Yeah, just do you.
All right, well, have a good weekend. Enjoy Delaware.
I'm in Maryland now.
I don't even. He filmed from 2 different states today. That's crazy.
Bro, I'm like that.
Dude, you can honestly film in 4 different states. You could drive to Maryland, PA, Delaware, then New Jersey within the matter of an hour. That's crazy. But don't.
But don't. All right, buddy.
See ya.
I'll see you.
Together unite, forming a podcast dream team, making waves in the industry, fulfilling their schemes. Highlight taking podcasts, we taking over the scene. We drop dubs and chugs, living the sports dream. From hot takes to deep dive, it's a winning regime. Come join the hype. We not just blowing steam.